So who was your first, what was your first situation in which you got to actually do some jiu-jitsu with like a legit person? You know, who was the first influence that was like, man, this guy knows what he's doing?
Rixon Gracie.
Oh gosh, at least the bar was set high.
I have a passion about karate. I like it, particularly when karate is brought up to the 21st century. It's kept relevant. It's not antiquated. I love it. But man, jiu-jitsu just changed my martial arts life. I mean, it really did. You know, UFC happened in '93, and so there were some guys here in Alabama that were playing around. Nobody really knew what they were doing. I just kept thinking to myself, I've got to find a way to train with somebody legitimate in this. All these martial arts guys that are just trying to figure things out. Well, this guy did judo and this guy did jiu-jitsu, but it's Japanese jiu-jitsu, not Brazilian jiu-jitsu. And, you know, so, you know, I just said, look, I'm going to go to California and I'm going to train with the best. I'm going to train with the best. And because I had a friend that trained with Rixon at a seminar. He got a business card from Rixon. I called Rixon's number at the time and spoke with his wife. I set up an appointment to go and do a private lesson with him. That was back in the days we trained in the garage. It really blew my actually what happened was, so we go to Rixon's house and we train, and dude, I came out of his garage. He let us borrow his car and drive back to the hotel. And so when we got in the car after that first day of training, now you got to understand, I mean, I'm nobody special in martial arts, but I've won the Battle of Atlanta twice, black belt division, the Bluegrass Nationals, the Texas Challenge. I mean, I'm not a novice, but I left his garage and I thought to myself, oh my gosh, you're horrible. You are the worst. You are not worthy of a black belt. And in fact, when we got in the car, my student and I, when we got in the car and started heading back to the hotel, it was about a 40-minute drive, we didn't say a word to each other because we were both in shock at what had just happened to us. Because Rixon, and he was super, super nice, but I couldn't do anything with him. I mean, I could even think about doing something and he just shut it down, you know. I mean, it was unbelievable. And we started standing up some, you know. It wasn't like everything was on the ground. And so we were in shock and we were headed back to the hotel. We didn't say a word to each other. We got to the hotel and all these people are doing karate and martial arts. And I'm just walking through the hotel going, you're wasting your time. Go get what I just got. That was my attitude. And I admit my attitude was really bad. And I felt really bad about myself. And so we were sitting down at the hotel and finally we ordered our food and we were sitting across from each other. And it was Roy Manley, one of my students. We just looked up at each other and we both were like, can you believe what just happened to us? And neither of us could believe it. And so we go back to train with Rixon the next day. And I pulled Rixon aside and I said, hey, I need to speak to you for a minute. And he's like, yeah, what's up? And I said, dude, I feel really bad about myself right now. I said, I feel like I have wasted my entire life as a martial artist. I can't do anything with you. And I said, I feel really bad right now. He said, look, I understand how you feel, but you haven't wasted your entire life. There are things that you have learned that are beneficial. And there's a lot of what you've learned that's a waste of time. And now your job is to become very proficient at jiu-jitsu and get rid of all the things that you don't need, that you don't need. And he said too, understand that when you become proficient at jiu-jitsu, your stand-up fighting will get better. He said, isn't it true that in the back of your mind as a stand-up fighter, you've always been concerned about someone getting you on the ground? And I said, well, yeah. He said, well, how do you think you're going to perform as a stand-up fighter when your attitude is, I don't care if we go to the ground. That's fine with me. You're going to have more confidence, right? And I said, yes. He said, look, I understand what you're going through. Don't worry about it. Just train jiu-jitsu and remember, get rid of what's useless, keep what's beneficial. And man, Rixon changed my life. I mean, he really did. You know, he has a high place in my life, of people that have been pivotal in my life, and I love him like a brother, and you know, I just think the world of him, and because if it hadn't been for him, I don't know as a martial artist where I would be today, honestly.
Yeah.
So he deserves a ton of credit.